Hello everybody, Altamir here with another video. Thank you for clicking, welcome to my channel. So in this one we are going to be going over something probably a little different here. It's going to be ZeniMax replied to this PTS forum post, and I thought it was interesting. Interesting enough to worth mentioning. The post is called The Year of Silence, and it just talks about the fact that they just haven't really been very active on the PTS part of the forum. Which, I mean, honestly, they never really have been before. It's not something that they actively do. They always do the what Kevin mentions here about the developer commentary sections to let us know their thoughts and stuff, but they don't really comment on the PTS part of the forums. They do, but anyway, let's just get into this and what he said and why I think it's a really good step in the right direction. Sukima goes, "Hi all, just wanted to chime in here. So the dev team does read the forums often, especially during PTS. Over the last few cycles, we've tried communication via the developer commentary sections and the patch notes, as it's helpful to address the philosophy around choices being made." Very true. I do like the commentary. You know, it definitely lets a lot of us know like where they're going, what their thought process is, maybe even give us a hint on what in the world their vision is for their changes. He continues on here. However, given the feedback in this thread, we will continue to do the developer commentary notes. The desire to have more of your direct questions answered is something everyone values. We want to meet this request to go back to some of the we want to meet this request to go back to some of the direct communication during PTS cycles. So we will do this with the update 42 PTS cycle, because update 41 is the PTS cycle is almost over. I think they only have one more week. To set expectations, while we won't be able to answer every question, we will find some of the more commonly asked questions and get those answered. And the bigger bulk of answer will come following week 1 and week 3 of PTS, as those are the weeks most changes occur. Now, I do find something that was really significant here about this part here, weeks 1 and 3. Now, this is something that has changed in PTS cycles. It seems like week 1 is the big change, and then whatever week, week 2, 3, 4, 5, it's just minor things. So if they go back to week 3 being a bigger week, I think that would definitely benefit them and definitely make people realize that their feedback is being read. Because I do feel like they do read the forums. I can be highly critical of ZOS, but I will give them credit to say I do feel like they read the forums, and I do feel like they do look at our feedback. And I think what people have to keep in mind, I try to keep this in mind too, is just because your feedback isn't implemented, it doesn't mean that they didn't read it. It might not be the direction they're looking to go, but communication is still a problem. It's still a pretty big problem. And I do get the whole why it's starting with update 42. Like I said, update 41's almost on, basically it's online. And I do appreciate while he said we won't be able to answer every question. Some people would look at this and be like, but I mean, honestly, that's the way I've always said. I've always said on a lot of different videos on here that you need to do like almost like a bulletin board, and you need to put a pin in things that show up on forums, on Reddit, on whatever a lot. Whether that's necromancer or what's big in the PTS right now is necromancer, but also the fact that the class style pages are going to be also restricted to your class. So if you're looking to get like the Nightblade helmet, because it's kind of like that, it just it covers your mouth and nose, kind of like a real assassin. Think of like Frost from Mortal Kombat. Something like that. And I would love that. But so those are the questions that they'd be looking at. Anything that's getting brought up a lot, and that does make sense. Excuse me. Ooh, excuse me, another burp. Ooh, soda's coming back. Um, Not that you guys care. So I do like that. I do. Let's read on. Outside of the PTS cycle, we do answer questions pretty often. They have gotten better with that. However, a good portion of them tend to be either specific to the user or contained within a thread like Whitestrake's Mayhem blog. However, if there is a greater desire to see some of those communications in the dev tracker, we can accommodate that. It still won't have everything, as we also want to make sure who have alerts tied to dev tracker are not getting tons of pings. But we can make a greater effort to have some communications more visible there. Lastly, we are working on some additional communication related items for later this year. So we'll update on those when we are closer. But we have some of this on the horizon. Thanks again for the feedback thus far. Feel free to leave any additional feedback here and we'll review. Thanks. So I will say that, communication is still something that ZeniMax needs to work on. And they have gotten better through the years, but it's been like a roller coaster ride. For those of you who haven't been here throughout the years, it's been a complete roller coaster ride where they start getting better, but then they fall off again, and that's kind of what's happening around like Necrom. Around that Necrom, they got like insanely bad with communication to the point where it seemed like a lot of the community managers, like Kevin and Gina and whatever, had no idea what was going on behind the scenes. Like when the Arcanist Crux change happened, this happened like 5 or 6 days after Necrom dropped, and they changed Crux completely. And it didn't seem like the community managers who were typing in the patch notes knew anything of what was happening on the combat side. It was so weird. But then again, they've started getting better, which is good. And I hope they continue to get better. I understand they can't tell us absolutely everything. That's okay. But the bulletin board pins some things that are important. Those of us who play Necromancer need answers. Now I'm going to do a separate video on that, but and people who look at styles, why are styles tied to your class? You have not done that at any point in the game. It doesn't make really any sense. It's not like I can jump on an Ebonheart player and wear Aldmere Dominion. I can jump on, I can be a Pit Demon, but be wearing Fire Drake. I can be an Altmer and wearing Breton stuff. You know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense why now they're starting to restrict it, I know a lot of it is because, if you put all 5 pieces together, you glow like that class. Okay. So what? It's a glow. Who cares? Anyway, I do like that Kevin communicated this. Kevin was probably the smartest hire ZOS has ever made. Because I think his inclusion and his addition to the forums has done nothing but help ZeniMax in the communication department. I mean, honestly, he is like a godsend. He needs to get paid more. Yeah, because something like this goes very, very far. It's such a it's what, 3 paragraphs and little blurbs here. I don't think ZeniMax understands just how just like something if they said, hey, we know that you guys are frustrated over Necromancer. We're gonna just sit back. We're playing with a few things right now. We don't know where to go with certain abilities and what we're throwing around ideas to make this class more fun. Stay tuned. That would be a paragraph, like 3 sentences, pretty much, right? And that would ease a lot of frustration because right now I think a lot of us are like, are they not fixing Necromancer and going, you know what? Scribing will save Necromancer. That will give him a sticky dot, So I applaud this. I think it's a really great move by them to communicate. And I do think they need to start communicating when it comes to PTS cycles because I know I can't speak for other people. So if you feel like how I feel right now, with what I'm about to say, let me know in the comments below. But I've been feeling like, what's the point of the PTS anymore? Like, what is the point of the PTS if you're not listening to the feedback? It seems like whatever changes that you introduce in week one, you're kind of like bullheadedly and stubbornly just making it go live, regardless of how we feel about it. And it's like, why? Like, why aren't you listening? And then there's also something about, I ran into something about they changed the templates where you can't really like test news, you can't test the sets because they're not in collections anymore or something, and then motifs too. And it's like, so we can't tell you that shoulders are too high or the belt looks weird or the what? Like, why are you making things harder? What's the point of the PTS? Just put it on live if you're not gonna listen to feedback and you're gonna take things away from us to test. What's the point? But if they up the communication, they let us know where they're going with things, what their idea is, their vision. I think it would help us. It would help me, you know. If they said, hey, Necromancer, changes planned for update 42 or update 43, or even if it's, quarter one of next year, at least it'd be some sort of blurb, to let us know and give us a chance to breathe a little bit, Communication. It's the theme since High Isle. Communication. Let us know. And if they start talking to us, about during the PTS cycles and some more direct, interactions, I think it does nothing but help them. So I applaud Kevin. I applaud ZeniMax for this. I think it's a step in the right direction. There's a lot that they need to work on. There's a lot that they need to communicate with us about. But this is a step, and I'll give them credit for that. It is. So anyway, thank you for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below about this, and do you think the communication is going to continue? I'm hopeful, but I'm cautious. Anyway, thank you for watching. Like I said, don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy my content and you want to see more, and I will see you in the next video.